Alright YouTube, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the Malaysia Airlines flight number 370 that went missing almost 10 years ago now. In a month it'll be 10 years. This plane disappeared pretty much out of nowhere back on March 8th of 2014. Now it's interesting how this plane disappeared on March 8th, which could be written out 3/8 or 8/3 when murder equals 83 and 38. Also going along with March 8th, flight 370 also equals 38. And then what happened with flight 370? It disappeared. Disappear equals 83. So we have the same numbers as the date in which it disappeared. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 was an international passenger flight operated by Malaysia Airlines that disappeared from radar on the 8th of March 2014 while flying from Kuala Lumpur International Airport in Malaysia to its planned destination, Beijing Capital International Airport in China. The reason for its disappearance has not been determined, and even to this day, they still don't know why or how Flight 370 disappeared, allegedly, right? So, if we take Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, we get 149 in the reverse reduction cipher. Just like how Skull and Bones also has a value of 149, but in the ordinal cipher. Malaysia Airlines equals 69 in reduction. Kuala Lumpur, which is the airport that the Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 took off from, also equals 69. But in reverse reduction. Kuala Lumpur International Airport equals 144 in reduction, and the Jesuit order equals 144 in ordinal. So Jesuit order leaving their stamp, Skull and Bones also leaving their stamp on the situation. The crew of the Boeing 777-200ER, registered as 9M-MRO, last communicated with air traffic control around 38 minutes after takeoff when the flight was over the South China Sea. The aircraft was lost from the ATC's secondary surveillance radar screens minutes later, but was tracked by the Malaysian military's primary radar system for another hour, deviating westward from its planned flight path, crossing the Malay Peninsula and the Andaman Sea. It left radar range 200 nautical miles northwest of Penang Island in northwestern peninsula, Malaysia. So it's also interesting that the crew of the flight, right? They were registered as 9M-MRO. And when you put that in Gematria, you get 38 in the cipher X. And it's also interesting that 38 minutes after takeoff, they lost communication with air traffic control. And also notice that they say around 38 minutes, but 38 is an exact number. I can understand if you say around 30 minutes or around 40 minutes, but around 38 minutes, but 38 is an exact number. You're not estimating. When you say around, it's assumed that you're going to be estimating, but 38 is an exact number. Just like how 9M-MRO equals 38. Also, death equals 38. Now, if we take the South China Sea and Penang Island. We get the same gematria of 53 and 208 in the same ciphers. Air traffic control, 89, just like how Beijing capital equals 89, right? They lost communication with the air traffic control on their way to the Beijing Capital International Airport. 89, 89. And then Malay Peninsula, Andaman Sea, and death all have the value of 213. Remember, zeros have no value in numerology. So we take it off, we have 213. Just like death equals 213 as well. So there were a total of 239 occupants on the Malaysian Airlines Flight 370, 227 of which were passengers, and the other 12 of which were crew members. Right, and then here's this statistic from Wikipedia. Occupants 239, 12 crew members, 227 passengers. Now, also notice the word disappearance equals 239. Missing airplane also equals 239. Just like how there were a total of 239 occupants on the missing airplane Flight 370. A search and rescue effort was launched in Southeast Asia soon after the disappearance of Flight 370. Following the initial analysis of communications between the aircraft and the satellite, the surface search was moved to the southern Indian Ocean 1 week after the aircraft's disappearance. Now, search and rescue, you get the value of 63 in the reduction cipher. Just like Kuala Lumpur and Jesuit order also equals 63. And then you have ritual equaling 630, drop the 0, 63. Now, search and rescue also equals 81, but in the single reduction cipher. Just like how Malaysia equals 81, Saturday equals 81, and ritual also equals 81 as well. So breaking it down, search and rescue, they did a search and rescue for the flight that left from Kuala Lumpur. And then the Jesuit order, leaving their stamp. Part of a ritual. Search and rescue from the Malaysia airport, the Malaysian airline flight 370, which all took place on Saturday. Saturday is when the Malaysian Airlines flight went missing. And then again, ritual. So this is the Prime Minister of Malaysia at the time, back in 2014. His name is Najib Razak, born as Muhammad Najib bin Abdul Razak. He was born on July 23rd, 1953, and now he's 70, but at the time he was 60. So if you take his birthday, his last birthday before this missing airline flight happened, you get 7 months and 2 weeks. So his birthday was 7 months and 2 weeks before the Malaysian Airlines flight went missing. When Flight 370 equals 72, Malay Peninsula equals 72. Just like how Jesuit order also equals 72. So, Flight 370, which went missing around the Malay Peninsula. And then again, Jesuit order leaving their stamp. And now if you take the date that the plane went missing to his next birthday that year, in 2014, this plane went missing 4 months and 2 weeks before his next birthday. Kuala Lumpur equals 42, just like disappear. Flight 370 disappeared when it departed from Kuala Lumpur International Airport. The plane disappeared also on 45 date numerology. When you add March the 8th and 2014, you get 45. Just like how Flight 370 equals 45, and a ritual popping up yet again equals 45. And the 45th prime number happens to be 197. The Andaman Sea equals 197. This was the sea that it crossed, right? Before it went missing. Also, if you take the date numerology and add just a 14, 3, 8, 14, you get 25, just like how death equals 25. And now 97 happens to be the 25th prime number, when skull and crossbones equals 97. So there they go again, leaving their stamp on the situation. Now we have order out of chaos, right? So order out of chaos equals 75, just like how Malaysia also equals 75. Order out of chaos also equals 222, just like how Beijing capital also equals 222. Flight 370 that left from Malaysia, and it was headed to the Beijing capital in China. Now we also know that Ordo ab Chao is the motto of the 33rd degree Freemasons. Now disappear equals 33. Malaysia Airlines flight 370 equals 330. You drop the 0, 33. Just like how Malaysia Airlines flight 370 disappeared on its way to the Beijing capital from Malaysia. It all connects. So Skull and Bones, also known as the Order 322, or Brotherhood of Death, is an undergraduate senior secret student society at Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut. So how I talk about all the time that it was founded at Yale University. Now, if you take Kuala Lumpur International Airport, you get 223 because the zeros dropped, right? So we have 223. Just like how skull and crossbones equals 223. And then even on the logo of Skull and Bones, you have 322. Just like how order 322, 322. 223 is just this flipped around. Still the same numbers. Now taking the coordinates of Kuala Lumpur, we have the 3rd parallel north and the 101st meridian east. Saturday, murder, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur all have that value of 30. Dropping the 0, we have 3. 3, 3, 3, 3. Just like how on Saturday, the Malaysia Airlines flight from Kuala Lumpur went missing. And by now, murder has popped up enough to where I can speculate in my head that there's something wrong with this. Did the pilot of that flight purposely have the plane go missing and kill all those people, including himself? Something's not sitting right. Allegedly, right? Now, Malaysia is 101. Also, Malaysia Airlines flight 370 equals 1010. You take away both of these words, you take away the zeros in all of them, you get 11 really. Even with the coordinates, you take away that zero, you have 11. So we're really looking at 11, 11, 11. But for the sake of it, 101, 101, you take away this zero at the end, 101. So the moon phase, March 8th of 2014, happened to be a first quarter moon, right? Now if you take first quarter moon phase, you get 107 in the reduction cipher. Just like how disappearance also has the value of 107, just in Latin ordinal. We still have 107, 107. If you also take first quarter moon phase in its reverse reduction cipher, you get 118. Just like how Beijing capital equals 118 in ordinal. Now the Malaysian Airlines flight made a disappearance on its way to the Beijing capital on a day with the first quarter moon phase. And we have the same values. So, speaking about how it took place on Saturday, March 8th, 2014, Saturday is ruled by the planet Saturn. Saturn is the planet of commitment and responsibility, but also restriction and delay. Saturn gives us boundaries, and Capricorn, the sign ruled by Saturn, epitomizes this ability. Now, if you take Saturday and Kuala Lumpur International Airport, you get 107. 107 in reverse for Saturday, and 107 in septenary for Kuala Lumpur International Airport. Just like how the plane went missing from it went missing after the plane departed from Kuala Lumpur International Airport on Saturday. Now, if you take Capricorn, you get 97 and 52, just like how death equals 97 and 25. You have the matching 97s, and then 52 is just a reflection of 25, but they're still the same numbers. You add 5 and 2, you get 7. You add 2 and 5, you get 7. And then Saturn equals 42 in this reverse reduction, just like how Kuala Lumpur and disappear also equal 42. This happened on the 67th day of the year. Skull and crossbones equals 67, just like disappearance equals 67. The same day that the plane made a disappearance, and we have the 67th day of the year, just like how disappearance also equals 67. Skull and crossbones, again, leaving their stamp on this event. Now 67 happens to be the 19th prime number. Malaysia equals 19, along with death and flight 370. When you take off that 0, you have 19, 19, 19. Just like how flight 370 from Malaysia went missing and it still hasn't been found. And we assume that they're all dead. This also happened on the day that leaves 298 days left in the year. If you take Kuala Lumpur and the reverse caps mixed cipher, you get 298. That's all I have for this video presentation. Hopefully you could connect some dots. Like I always say, do your own research. You can back up everything that I put in my videos on the gematriator.com calculator. Pay attention to the ciphers and then type in the values for yourself. But with that being said, as usual, hopefully you gained some insight. Have a nice day and stay safe.